Hey folks, and welcome to another edition of Minister's Bullet. I want to continue to work through First Corinthians. I want to stick with chapter 15 today, move a couple verses down and look at verse 33. In that, from the ESV, Paul writes, "Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals." Some versions say corrupts good morals. Um, and I want to tie into uh, this, something he said earlier in First Corinthians um, chapter 5, verse 11. There he said, "But now I'm writing to you not to associate with anyone who bears the name of brother if he is guilty of sexual immorality or greed, or is an idolater, reveler, drunkard, or swindler, not even to eat with such a one." Um, Pretty strong words from Paul. And I dare say all of us are probably guilty of doing this from time to time. Um, but it's a really important concept for us to understand uh, and try to implement in our life. I heard a saying a few years ago that really stood out to me and made a lot of sense. It was that health is not infectious, it's not contagious, but disease is. And I think that's what Paul is saying here. Um, if we hang out, if we get really close and really intimate with people who are caught up in sin, not just unbelievers, not just the lost, but brothers and sisters in Christ who have backslidden and are not walking with God the way they should. If we get intimate with them, get real close to them, we're just setting ourselves up for failure. Um, we shouldn't put ourselves in those situations. I mean, you think about, for example, an alcoholic. Maybe he struggled for years to overcome that sin. He's finally sober. He's been sober for a long time. It's going to be to the benefit of him not to put himself in situations where there's going to be a lot of drinking. Everybody is going to advise this person to stay away from bars, stay away from parties where there's going to be alcohol, and that's just sound advice. That's just good advice for if you struggle with a certain sin, to not put yourself in those situations where you'll be tempted to indulge, and that works with sin too, with any kind of sin. Um, where we were once slaves to sin, now we're free, but we still have to choose between indulging in the flesh or doing what God calls us to do, to be obedient to Him. And the desire within our flesh is still there. And it would behoove us to do all we can to avoid being in situations where we know we're going to be tempted. You know, whatever sin you struggle with, whatever your vice is, wherever you're weak, um, whatever you've struggled with in your life, you know what it is. I know what mine are, and I take a I take a lot of care to make sure I don't put myself in situations where I know I'm going to be tempted, and that's what Paul's talking about. He's saying bad company ruins good morals, corrupts good morals. So he's saying be careful the company you keep. Surround yourself with strong brothers and sisters in Christ. Get connected to your local church. Get connected to a small group. Surround yourself with people who have a passion for Jesus Christ and His Word. Um, and you're just setting yourself up for success. You're going to have a support system, and you know you're not likely to face temptation from these people. Rather, they're going to encourage you to do what's right, to be obedient to God, um, and that's something we all need to understand. Um, I'm not saying, obviously we have to deal with the world. We have to deal. I mean, if we're gonna reach out to the world, if we're gonna witness and spread the gospel of Jesus Christ, we have to interact with them. But Paul is saying we don't have to be close to them. Um, we don't have to make them our best friend. We don't have to be intimate with them because, like I said, health is not contagious. It's not infectious, but disease is. So who you surround yourself with is going to have a huge impact on the success of in your walk with God.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and join and follow us on these platforms.